Hey everybody, it is your other friendly neighborhood GM here, Hannah Schooner. We have a very special Halloween episode today for you, called Mayday, Mayday, the Drimbus is eating the Reich. We made this episode in collaboration with the folks over at Mayday Roleplay. It was such a blast to have Amanda and Lev at our table, and if you like what you hear, be sure to check them out at Mayday Roleplay wherever podcasts are found. If you enjoy this episode, then have no fear. Dungeons and Drimbus will be posting Halloween content all throughout October at patreon.com/Drimbus, starting this Sunday with Happy Campers. Like all Beyond D&D stories, the first episode is always free, so go check it out. But that's enough from me. I'll let you get to the episode. Just remember, Dungeons and Drimbus is rated R for rude language, rough violence, raunchy humor, and punching Nazis. It is 1943. Europe is at war. Illuminated by the dull red lights of the Fang bomber's hangar, Commander Slate paces back and forth on the steel plates of the plane's floor. The last 6 months have led us to this point. This is our final move. Your mission is to kill Adolf Hitler in his Zeppelin atop the Eiffel Tower. Commander Slate has set up a makeshift, long, thin table in the middle of the body of the plane, covered with a cloth map of the Nazis' current territories in Paris. In exactly 1 hour, Adolf Hitler is planning to address the world in a live broadcast. As such, you will have 1 hour to reach him, possibly less if detected quickly. Time is of the essence, team. She points to a spot on the map. Our obfuscation hexes can only reach so far, so you'll be dropping in Sector 3, on the touching funeral of Werner Schmidt, a decorated SS soldier set to be laid to rest with military honors. His full brigade should be in attendance. Be swift, but do pay your respects, team. Next, you'll move through the concert hall, and as she speaks, she slides pieces on her map, continuing through the Nazi pleasure gardens to the Eiffel Tower. That's where you begin the climb. Expect resistance, wreak havoc, but keep moving. Show no mercy. At the top of the tower, you'll face the Führer, and most likely his new pet. If our intel is correct, Hitler has managed to create some amalgamation of Nazi and beast. As if there wasn't already a grey area. Take caution. Nazi scum may be easily disposed of, but this beast is not to be underestimated. 5 reinforced steel boxes in the shape of coffins hang from the roof, their doors open. One by one, you climb inside, and Commander Slate helps secure the doors, leaving only your eyes visible behind bulletproof glass. It's hot as hell down there, team. Once you arrive, you'll be swarmed with Nazi scum until this is done and dusted. She walks over to a large lever mounted towards the front of the bomber. Godspeed, and good luck. She salutes the drop coffins and throws the lever. The hatches open and you plummet from the plane towards the lights of Paris at dusk. We cut to the graveyard on the outskirts of Paris. The scene is somber and touching as the funeral begins to wrap up. Under the light of the full moon, Werner Schmidt's widow dabs her eyes, and the rest of his squad stand at salute. The swastika-adorned coffin is beginning to be lowered into the ground. The squad of soldiers ready to fire a rifle salute in his honor. The Nazi officer leading the memorial suddenly looks up, hearing something. The confused infantry follow suit, and as the unmistakable sound of some kind of aerial artillery dropping fills the space, they scatter in panic, until bang! Your coffins slam into the ground at terminal velocity, and you are mangled and crushed into paste within. The officers take cover, awaiting explosions. When none come, they come out, curious. Hydraulics within the drop coffin release the pressurized nun's blood, straight from the convent within Fang, Our Lady of Perpetual Ruin. The Nazi officer that had been leading the memorial approaches and uses his sleeve to wipe the glass and peer inside. Seeing nothing, he shrugs to his compatriots and turns his back. When Flint, bam, bursts out of their drop coffin and the rest follow suit. Flint, your task is clear. The objective? Ruin that funeral. The threat? The armed infantry squad, although unprepared, are still armed. What do we see?
So, the coffin slams open. Hydraulics send the lid flying away. But if you look inside, Flint does not come bursting out, because Flint is not yet fully assembled. What you see is one small claw grab onto the edge of the coffin, and then a large, almost leathery wing begins to come out, large claws, and then the face pokes out, literally reassembling in real time, as half of it is just skull and dripping blood, and you see these gnarled, mashed fangs hanging over the lips as he comes out and lets out a screech. And this vampire bat, it literally looks like half bat, half dog, half man. It is some strange creature comes out and he says, "My condolences," and he is going to leap out. I'm going to brawl.
Hell yeah.
We are in the melee. We're here. It's time to brawl.
Great.
A 1-1, a 3, and 2 4s.
2 successes. I have 1 success.
He's gonna come out again, still forming. I think literally his torn wing catches on a rough, jagged edge of the coffin, and one of his limbs just falls off.
Yeah.
So he comes out with one of the claws coated in metal and is going to gouge one of the Nazis. The tip of the claw goes right into their eye, swings them around, and it's almost like a romantic dip as he bites into the neck, but is just totally ravenous and is going to begin to eat at it, basically starting to tear a large hole into him. And as that blood flows through him, he goes, "Oh, sorry, 1 second." And he goes and he grabs the limb and kind of just sticks it on as the blood flows through, and it finishes reattaching.
You gain 1 blood.
Fantastic.
The officer in your arms had been bumbling for his rifle, and it was unloaded. He was completely unprepared. And you see the rest of the infantry seeing this display. They begin to get a sense of how fucked they are, and they all begin to just try to fumble with their weapons, very unprepared. You have 1 more success.
I'm already fucked up. I'm gonna let them hurt me. I'm gonna ruin this funeral. He goes up to the coffin and flips it like a table.
Oh, yeah.
And just sends it sprawling over the Nazis that are nearby.
Incredible. So in doing so, already you just see the widow, who is also adorned in Nazi memorabilia, gasps in shock, and all of the infantry squad are just fumbling with their weapons, and the band flees, getting the gist of what's about to happen. Now, your objective has been lowered, and you take 1 injury.
Okay, let's see. My teeth are smashed.
When you were drinking the blood ferociously of this officer, since he was so highly adorned, he has so many medals on his jacket, you get a little too caught up and you chip your tooth on one of his medals.
Yeah, my regeneration wasn't done, and the gums were not fully firmly set in place, and one of the teeth just snaggles straight out.
Yeah. Chuck, how do you exit your coffin?
I would like to say that if it is not just probably the whistle of them hearing the projectiles, the coffin's coming down, it's a little bit of Chuck going,
Incredible.
you will see the lid kick open. You'll see a good pair of worn black boots just kick on out, and he's gonna saunter out, just fall onto the ground and just be covered, be like, who's the nearest one? The lady who's "My condolences so much, ma'am. I know that was your husband, but I don't care." And then he's gonna with that to the widow, he would like to go ahead and go and bite the neck.
Incredible. So I'd say that's brawling.
Brawling, yes. Oh, okay. I got 2 5s, a 4, and a 3. So
Very good. So that is 3 successes. And for your knowledge, I currently have 2.
okay. I would like to definitely get some blood from her.
Absolutely. So as you say this to her, you see shock, horror, and just straight up confusion. But then you also see hate as she tries to rally the officers to protect her. And it is very clear that this woman is used to getting what she wants, and you find immense satisfaction. As you drink her blood, you taste cigarettes, you taste alcohol, you taste hate from this woman, and you regain 1 blood.
I'm gonna be honest. This woman she tastes like exactly like this bar I've been in Tucson with that little extra hatred on that. Oh, brings back memories.
You have 2 more successes.
Yes, you're gonna see Chuck pull out 2 very silver, very lovely revolvers. Now, this here are my girls. This here is Betsy, and this one's Maria. Right now, they're kind of in a tiffy right now, so you gotta excuse me if all of a sudden just start blasting.
Incredible. Betsy and Maria take out 5 officers as you quickly just... And the rest are... You think you smell shit. As it seems like these officers are afraid.
Oh man, this smells like some cow pies in this motherfucker. And he can cover his face with the little knife.
Yeah.
Smells like shit in here.
I still have 2 successes, and I believe you have 1 left to use.
With the blasting, and I'm assuming my coffin is nearby, I would like to actually see, like, kind of duck down and start doing, like, cover fire over the coffins.
Okay, great. So as you duck behind, you hear the unmistakable ping, 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 as they have begun to shoot back, and it's kind of hitting off of your coffin. But unfortunately, one of them is a pretty good shot and kind of nicks you before you get behind cover. Your arm, and therefore your really nice getup, just gets blasted. It's honestly offensive.
God damn motherfucker, dog shit, I got this thing sewed up on us. Then you're just gonna hear a curse. A bunch of curses down the coffin.
Perfect. All right, next, Astrid.
You see the coffin burst open, and the person inside swings out from the top and lands in almost like a pouncing position. They've got kind of like a cat-like rhinarium that's pierced through the center. Ears that are kind of long and pointed and have a little bit of like hair growing on them, like fur almost. In the normal position for human ears, but elongated. They're like punched through with what looks like shrapnel almost, like they've pierced their own ear with shrapnel. Necklaces adorn their neck, just like really complicated like knots of yarn. There are some that look like maybe bones that have been like cleaned off. There's again like metal twisted around itself, like a sigil almost. Arms adorned with different kinds of tattoos, and the clothes underneath look like those of a pilot, but the sleeves have been kind of ripped off. They've got the harness from a parachute, but the parachute is gone. It's just the harness now. Now, when the coffin was flipped like a table, did the body kind of roll out of it?
Absolutely.
I would love to use my great spear, stab through it, and then start using the body on the end of the great spear as kind of like a whipping kind of weapon to knock over other people.
That is incredible. I still think this counts as brawl, so let's see some brawl with that.
I've got only a 6 and a 4.
All right, so I have 2 successes.
I want to eliminate a threat with one of them.
Perfect.
It's just like this whirlwind, because the spear's kind of, it looks really like not fully ancient, but old enough that it's got like where it goes in, there are prongs out to the side so that going out is harder. So they're just kind of using it like a sweeping motion to batter into other enemies as they kind of mow through the rifle line.
You see their bodies go flying as you hear screams, and the others try their best to decide which enemy to shoot at. You have scattered them a bit.
And I'm gonna use my 6 to get 2 blood.
Awesome.
The last person in that line Astrid brings the spear with the body down and basically pins him underneath the body and then crouches low in like almost like a feline kind of position and just bites in, cat-like eyes kind of dilating in the darkness.
As you lean over and you begin to just drink with reckless abandon from this man, you see an officer that you had not noticed before approaches and just unloads into your leg at such velocity that you are too focused on drinking to realize how much damage he's actually doing, and you realize that's gonna need some work to heal.
Astrid pulls off, turns. All right, you're next. And then goes back to drinking.
Perfect. Bringing us to Iryna.
You see the lid of Iryna's coffin get kicked off, the heeled boot sticking out as the leg bends at the knee, as like you see like the flesh kind of reforming, the suit leg of the pants kind of reweaving together. She rises out, stands tall. You see her in her navy suit, a violet ascot that matches the color of her eyes, but the bloodshot eyes of the nun's blood are kind of blocking the violet irises as she looks across the funeral proceedings and she says, "My name is Iryna Petrovna Zamilachikova, but your dad just calls me Iryna." And she will draw her magical cavalry saber and scream, "Charge, brethren!" And she is going to go and attack some dang Nazis.
Alrighty, I have 2 successes.
Great. 1 critical. So, Iryna lunges at the nearest Nazi to her that is not currently being drained by one of her compatriots. I will ram my saber through the Nazi's abdomen, pull him close, and whisper in his ear, "This is much worse for me than it is for you." And she sinks her teeth into his neck and tastes this hateful blood.
It's hateful. It's also it's scared and horny. It's so many flavors in one, but there definitely is hate there, yeah.
Ooh. Incredible vintage. I am going to allocate the additional dice to defending myself against attacks. So once I've fully drained my victim, I remove the saber and have it on guard, prepared to either swing at a bullet that's coming at me or deflect any sort of hand-to-hand combat.
It becomes clear that this other soldier that begins to approach, he hesitates shooting at you. This display is almost ethereally horrific. And so his rifle is shaking in his hands, and all you have to do is take a tip of your pretty little finger and point it away from you.
No.
And as you do this, another soldier you did not see does shoot at you.
6. So that's going to be a shoulder injury.
So as you are speaking to this soldier that had hesitated, you get shot in the shoulder.
Damn. Ugh, I don't care much about the bones, but the suit, this goes back in my family for generations.
This is a nice suit, yes.
Thank you. You'll pay for it later.
Okay. And we cut to Cosgrave.
So Cosgrave is going to kick open the casket, and as he's still fully forming, you kind of see like a blood mist kind of like raise up and form around as he like stretches his fingers, stretches out a little bit. You see a gentleman there with chocolate skin, a head full of dreads. He has tattoos all over his body. On his arm, you see maybe the wristbands and claws. His clothes look, it kind of reminds you of like Jack Sparrow mixed with maybe like a bard, if you think about it in like D&D. It's like very colorful. You get the thought immediately comes to your head that this guy's kind of a collector, because you just see like random pins and bones and things that he's maybe acquired through whatever means throughout his journey. armies. He has rings on his fingers. He flicks his hair back and gives a little smirk, and you see that his fangs happen to have gold caps on them as well.
Oh, man.
And he's just like, I never get tired of that. And then he immediately takes out the shotgun from his bandolier and runs up to like the nearest Nazi and puts it on there. Say hello. A 4, a 6, a 1, and a 3.
Great. I currently have 1 success.
So I think I'm gonna use the 6 towards gaining some blood.
Very nice.
So Kaz doesn't like to get his fangs too dirty, so he's just gonna grab 2 of them. And if anyone has seen like Hocus Pocus, is almost just like he's like absorbing the essence, so like the blood kind of like seeps out from their bodies and like whatever orifices it can come through. It's like through the eyes and like the ears, and like basically breaking out of the pores of their skin as he just like kind of absorbs it all and just.
You have 1 more success, and so do I.
So I'm actually going to flip over towards the organ. And then, again, he's gonna like flip his hair back, kind of do like a gliss, and then just start playing the piano, maybe like a little Moonlight Sonata. And it's like, I do love a good funeral. And as he starts playing, you kind of see like the body of the widow start to like creak and crack. And she starts like stand up and like shambling. And then she just starts attacking Nazis.
This happens, and this funeral, I mean, it's one for the books, but not for the ways that it usually is. And as you're playing the piano, you see a nervous soldier shoots at you, and you do get shot, but it does not deter you from continuing to play. That brings us back around to Flint. You notice that in the disarray, a few soldiers have run off, possibly to gain some reinforcements. What do you do?
You begin to hear the pitter-patter of feet. And then, as I'm going to use my brawl, but I want to enter aerial combat as I start to just kind of like hover off the ground using my wings.
Incredible.
So that'll give me an extra die. Ooh, that's no successes.
Is it time for our first flashback?
Yeah, I think so. And his mind is transported to one day they were on a secret mission getting POWs out of the camp. They loaded them onto a plane and were able to take off. However, the Luftwaffe was following closely behind, during which one of their comrades actually leapt out of the back of the plane onto the enemy plane. Very clearly and very quickly overwhelmed, you see one of the Nazis climbs out of the cockpit and they begin to brawl Indiana Jones style on top of the plane in the air. And Flint, seeing this, there's a thunderstorm raging, you hear the cracks of lightning, and is somehow spurred into action. Flies through the thunderstorm again, flittering awkwardly like a butterfly almost. And as their comrade nearly dies, Flint just barely manages to cling onto the Nazi in the thunderstorm and rip them in half, throwing them off into the wind and buying their comrade enough time to escape.
Do you want to name which comrade that was? Is it someone present?
Ooh, it was totally Astrid, and so that was maybe how Flint and Astrid had their first like real interaction beyond just like fighting together.
As you recall this, what you're looking at is Astrid once again pouncing on someone as she drinks their blood, and it reminds you of this moment. And having that flashback, you may add 2 more d6s and roll all of your dice again.
Ooh, a 6, a 5, and a 4.
Very nice.
Jeez.
I only have 1 success.
Fantastic. So you see Flint sees this, is kind of stumbling about, kind of like drunk off nun blood and Nazi blood, and then as he has this flashback, he remembers that in order to get to the thunderstorm, he kind of had to relax himself and release the tension. So he spreads the wings wide and kind of glides forward just enough to lift up off the ground. And as he does, he goes, "Hi, Astrid."
Well done, darling.
Thank you. He's going to grab the corpse by the ankles, slide it off the spear, and then tear the corpse in 2 like he did in the memory, and is going to use it to start battering Nazis as he flies over them to advance the objective.
Incredible.
So I think as the bullets start to fly, he drops one half of the body over some of the fleeing Nazis, and then almost like a dancer, like twirls, like his wings come in close, and he twirls up in the air with a one half like still spinning around, and it absorbs the bullets. He lets it fly up into the air, and then is going to swoop down with that last success and just like burrows into someone's stomach and starts drinking blood from there. They're still alive, and he's just looking up at them.
Amid the chaos, the sounds of Cosgrave playing the piano, the sounds of Chuck probably whooping in some way, you just hear the screams of these soldiers as you are all obliterating them. And speaking of Chuck, it is now your turn once again.
Chuck is kind of just looking at their shirt that was underneath, and it's all, they're pissed and they're grinding. God damn, motherfucker. You know how expensive it is to get a fucking tailor-made Italian shirt? God damn. You just
Tell me about it.
Italian. You know how hard it is to get Italian-made shit in Arizona? Jesus. And then decided to kind of look through my tool belt to see if there's anything in there, and I'm trying to see if I, find a stick of dynamite or anything that I can catapult over that could be since these are Nazis, I believe they might have any of those throw stick grenades. I'm hoping, since a bunch of them were in uniform, they might still, and they were carrying weapons. I want to see if any of them had grenades.
Yes, I would roll search.
Oh my gosh, I got 2 6s. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So what you find actually is not just one grenade, but 3.
Fire in the hole! And just go ahead and grab, and I'm gonna chuck that bitch right to that entrance, so I can stop them from leaving. But I'm kind of also hoping that they're gonna explode out and shower everything in blood. 'Cause let's be honest, I want some blood in this mofo.
This funeral is looking pretty close to being completely ruined.
I was gonna say.
Mechanically, the objective has 1 left. You have thrown a grenade. You have 1 more success.
Finish it.
I was gonna say finish it. I'm gonna go ahead and use probably my second one just to go
Great.
and keep one.
A final grenade splatters you all with blood in a way that is not unpleasant, I will add. And it's like one of those moments where the rest of the soldiers pause and then just drop and fall apart. And there is nothing remaining of this funeral. It is suitably destroyed.
The top half of the guy that Flint was feeding on gets blown off, and he goes, I was gonna finish that.
He's still there and there. Just points all to the directions. You can still get him. He's there. Little on your nose there.
He grabs a loose artery and starts to suck on it like a spaghetti. I don't know.
The widow's dead body is still dancing to the music.
She's quite talented.
You're gonna see a weird snake tongue kind of come out and just kind of in a cartoonish way clean all the blood that's around Chuck's face.
Nice.
Anyone else hungry?
Always.
Starving.
Famished.
Let's eat.
As you sit witnessing the carnage you have sowed, you swear you could hear a wolf's howl in the distance. And not many things scare you. You guys are definitely apex predators. But something about the pitch and intensity of this howl makes whatever undead hair remains rise on you.
This hit all the chords. I didn't like that.
Shall we take a lot of our snacks to go? Now?
I'm all right with that.
Yeah, that's fine. Just give me a second.
And feeling that snaggled tooth knows that he needs more blood, keeps sucking on the artery and then goes, ah!
It's not fresh anymore.
And he'll start running off towards the howls.
Perfect.
Astrid's hair had poofed out like an animal raising its hackles at the sound of the howl. They go, ugh, and they pull another chain of sigils out of their hair and start rebraiding it as they limp after Flint.
Perfect.
Cosgrave's gonna go to the widow's corpse and be it was fun, love, and he's gonna twirl her over by the pit, and then he's gonna grab her necklace and just boot her in there.
Iryna takes out a handkerchief from in her sleeve of her suit, and she wipes down her saber, sheaths it, dabs at the corners of her mouth to clean up any remaining blood, and goes, well, hate to leave a party early, but one must move on.
You make your way past the graveyard, and after couple minutes, give or take, you approach the outer courtyard of the concert hall. Your objective is to hustle through the corridors and make your way towards Hitler, ignoring the Übermensch inside. The concert hall was once festooned with beautiful, if gaudy, 17th century decor, but it has all been ripped out and replaced with stark architecture and on-the-nose murals of hard-working Germans. As you begin to approach the concert hall, you notice posters of the star of the show. He seems familiar.
Anyone else recognize this?
It does look familiar.
I can't quite put my finger on it, but I do have some vague recollection.
We're not supposed to kill him, right?
Don't think so.
Never stopped us before.
Well, is there any swastikas on the costume in the poster?
Yes.
Then I would take that as a good indication that we are to kill them.
Oh, great.
Could I roll like search to see if I know who he is?
Yeah.
4 and a 6.
All right, so you recognize Franz Vogel. He's a person of interest that Fang has identified. His code name is Damonenbu. After reports of torture and the murder of his co-stars came to light, the Reich stepped in to make the allegations go away as long as he worked for them. Since you can see his smiling, somewhat handsome face on the posters, it seems he's accepted the deal. The question is there enough time to neutralize him, or must you move forward? You do hear screams from inside the concert hall.
Flint will, with like, it's the way he walks is disturbing because his body is man enough that you would think he could walk like a human, but no, he walks like when you see a bat like crawling on the ground, and he kind of like works his way up the frame with one claw, like rips it out and grabs the paper, and he goes,
I know this guy. His name is Today's Lunch.
and he'll roll it up and tuck it into a little coat and start scurrying along towards the streams.
Okay,
Stay quiet.
He holds up his silver claw.
perfect. Can I get some sneaks?
5 and 4.
5.
I only roll one dice for sneak, and it's a 1.
I rolled one die for sneak and it's a 3.
I got 2, I got a 6 and a 2.
You guys aren't the most quiet, but that's okay, because as you enter, you had trouble. It seemed the doors were locked from the inside. Through your joint effort, you're able to just get them open. It does kind of make a noise, but them being locked from the inside is odd. And those screams you hear get louder as you open, but then you hear the screams die down into whispers as a frantic yelling responds. And then you hear the music continue and singing, but it is off, like they are afraid. As you sneak forward, you hear a sour note ring out, a yell of frustration, and then a scream abruptly cut off, with forceful claps as the music and the singing resumes. Terrified.
I know Chuck is probably won't be like very loud, like I've never been to the opera, and just starts wants to kind of peek.
Flint will definitely help. He's hungry.
Yeah, ever a patron of the arts, Cosgrave is definitely gonna go check it out.
I'll follow the pack.
As the stage comes into view, it's obvious that most of the patrons have fled, but the remaining opera goers are like trembling with fear. Patron of the art Cosgrave recognizes this show. It's Wagner, Hitler's favorite. And it seems that Franz is forcing them to continue to perform. As another singer falters, you see that instead of punishing the singer, Franz steps forward and grabs an audience member in his grasp. The other audience members are frantically whispering, and he yells at them. And the man in his grasp screams as you see claws and teeth and horns not sprouting from where they should normally come, sprouting from his skin. through his clothes on his arms and his legs and his chest.
If he is about to attack the civilian, then Flint will immediately leap into action.
How are you attacking him?
Flint kind of crawls up to try and get onto a balcony, and then is going to try and ambush him. He's going to bring out the silver claws and is just going to glide over to him and try and get the drop on him.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Oh, 6, 5, 5, 4.
Wow.
And then failures.
In the time it took for you to fly toward him, what you see before you is no longer a man. His eyes are black, and there is black veins that are popping out of the rips in his costume as it becomes clear that this is a very high threat. 12.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
I have 2 successes.
Okay. My first special is going to go to Ravenous. I'm going to gain 3 blood. As I just leap onto him, the steel gouging claws rip into either shoulder, kind of pulling him backwards, almost like tugging on the reins of a horse. And with that, he's going to bite onto the neck, but he's so hungry, so ravenous for this, that he almost like bites more of the cheek than the neck. It is just one wide, almost snake-like bite as he greedily is going to absorb that blood.
As you ravenously dig into his throat and his jaw, tearing out this man's most prized possession, his voice box, you taste blood that is like a jar of chicken fat with a cigar stubbed out on it. It is nasty. He drops the audience member as you bite in, and he does begin to take a clawed hand back towards you.
So my gouging claws are actually on the tips of my wings. So my hands are still free. So as that fist comes in, he's going to grab the fist in his claws and bite it, still feeling ravenous, just to reduce one of your successes.
Okay.
And then, like, being attached to him loosely by his wings is going to kind of, like, crawl around him and, like, plant his feet on his shoulder socket and then begin to gnaw at the elbow joint and pull and pull and pull until he can remove that hand off of him.
I have 1 success, so go ahead and roll for that.
Jaw broken.
The forearm is in your mouth, and it's almost being used to, like, keep you back as you would an animal, as he brings his other hand in and just takes it in your mouth and breaks your jaw.
And blood begins to drip out of, like, the now unnaturally wide mouth, the jaw hanging limply.
Astrid, you see this. What do you do?
Don't hurt my bat. And I'll start stalking forward. The braid that they just redone, they kind of sigh and pull the chain out of it. And it's this, like, spirit fetter kind of thing. And they twist it in one direction around itself. And at their back, different kind of, like, shadowy versions of creatures, shifting in, like, animal to human to not quite either, but kind of both, start stalking behind them. And I would like to use Terrify to try and get him to release Flint.
Let's see.
Ooh, 2 6s and a 4.
Wow, all right. I have 2 successes. The threat is now 11.
Oh, sick. So I'm going to use one of my 6s to reduce the threat level by 2, but I have something called Apex Predator, which means that I actually reduce it by 3.
Incredible. So the threat is now 7.
These shadows loop up around his body and are just kind of like pulling and plucking at different, like, teeth and horns and bits of, like, hard matter that are in his body and letting kind of blood flow out of them. I would like to use my 4 to put my mouth underneath one of those kind of open wounds as it spits blood to gain another blood up to 3.
Okay, I have 2 successes left.
And I have a 6 left, so I'm going to use that to defend myself.
You can see that his eyes that had become black from the ichor inside of his body, you can still kind of see the lightest different color of an iris that is wildly, frantically spinning around. It seems that these shadowy creatures are not anything that this man, if you can even call him that anymore, has ever dealt with. And he releases Flint, his jaw still broken, as Flint is able to fly, kind of suspended in the air a little bit more. And he is swatting frantically at these shadows at first. And when he feels the bite, that is a little more concrete. And you can see him try to see you, and he begins to bring another clawed hand down at you, and you are able to deflect.
The spirits, as his hand comes down through them, solidify into just like sinew and bone and fur. Not really a specific form, just like a formless, for lack of a better word, meat shield that every blow kind of like glances off of, like horn and like tree bark, bits of stone, back to fur, like human flesh. It's just kind of like an amalgam that's always shifting. As Astrid kind of dips closer and like licks the last of the blood off of their chin, I would also like to spend my 3 blood that I've just reached to get rid of my ruined leg and go up to limping. They kind of smear across their face and wipe the blood into the open wounds across their leg, and they start to kind of like close over with like in the same way that the shadows are closing over.
Yeah.
It's very like fur and bark before the skin appears again.
All right. Cosgrave, Astrid has just used her shadows to surround this monster, but although disoriented currently, he still looks strong. What do you do?
Kaz is going to take inspiration from Astrid, and he is going to take out a little jar from one of his bandoliers. He's going to like pop that open, and then while he does that, you kind of see from the gaping hole in his chest, like some of his like blood turns into a mist and like spreads out through the room. And so he just opened a jar of bottled ghosts, and he's using his ability Phantasmagoria, where as the mist spreads throughout the room, everything starts becoming more horrific, and the chairs look all distorted, and the concert hall kind of looks like the inside of like, it's like all fleshy and like dripping, and there's like teeth everywhere. And then he just goes like, oh, it's showtime.
Okay, great. I have 4 successes.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to reduce his threat by 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna have to use the other the 2 crits to defend himself as he's just like starting his like eerie concert.
As these ghosts spread around the room, for some reason, he is still able to lock on to you. He can tell that you are the source of these ghosts and pushes Astrid aside, who has just fixed her leg, begins to run at you.
So I'm still technically like in the booth, just like above, like sitting on the rails. So as he runs at me, he's just like, you can't get up here.
and something about the way that you terrified him, his eyes, although still black and shrouded, widen as he begins to try to climb, but the ghosts and the shadows are pulling him down.
I love a spirit duet. Thank you, Cos.
Of course, my dear.
Sounds great.
And Iryna, what do you do as you see all of this occurring?
Iryna is going to run up through the house and take position from above in one of the box seats. And she is going to draw her exquisite hunting rifle. Takes aim and says, "Eat lead, you fucking animal." Pulls the trigger and takes a nice, clean shot. And I'm going to go ahead and allocate the success and the critical success to the threat.
The threat is now 3.
And I'm going to go ahead and defend myself.
After the shot is taken, you blow open quite a large gaping hole in this beast's chest, and he looks at it and looks in the direction of the shot, and one of his clawed hands takes the hand that Flint had disemboweled from his body and launches it towards Iryna. And as it's coming towards you, you notice that not only is it a clawed hand, but there are sharp spikes and horns along it. And were you not expecting it, this could have done some serious damage as you take your rifle and just bat it away from you.
And we hit it out of the park.
Bringing us to Chuck.
All right. Chuck's still waiting in the wings. Everybody's doing their thing. He's like, finally, someone's just doing some non-magic shit in this motherfucker. Right, that's what I'm talking about. Cosgrave, I'm going to go ahead and show you how we do opera in Arizona. And then you're going to see Chuck kind of do a running and slide on the blood, like a baseball slide. Because I do have my handy-dandy pistols. I'm bringing out Betsy and Maria again.
Tell me, Chuck, how do you solve a problem like Maria?
Listen right now, okay? The only way to solve a problem like Maria is to court her. And right now, the only one courting her is me. Okay, so I got 3 1s and 1 4.
Okay. I have 2 successes.
Of course you do. All right. So, obviously, we don't have a lot of opera in Arizona. So, when Chuck comes sliding out, like on the blood, trying to be a little bit of like, woohoo, I would say he slides, but doesn't do it correctly. Kind of like skids. Which does not do exactly what he wanted to get close enough. So Betsy doesn't do well, but Maria does. And I will go ahead and I want to reduce the threat.
I have 2 successes.
A 1.
So I think what happens here is through your sliding, your priority here is looking cool, let's be real. And yes, Maria, her shot is true, but Betsy, as you slide, you kind of just slide, like you said, a little too messily, and Betsy shoots your leg on accident.
God damn, fuck, I knew I shouldn't have done that to Betsy.
Opera's very interesting in Arizona.
I like it.
You're gonna see Chuck on the ground, like, be extra, holding his leg, like, how could you do this to me? Why?
You've got to give all of your partners equal attention, darling. Not just one.
You try handling 2 ladies at the same time.
I have.
Damn. All the warnings was like, damn.
You see, even Franz, like, although his voice box is gone, he can't speak. He just, like, regards you and is like, like.
Flint blushes, but the increased blood flow just makes his jaw bleed more.
Flint, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna try something unconventional.
Okay, I like unconventional.
Would you say there are 3 or more stories worth of height in the opera house?
Yeah, I would say that there's like the ground floor, there's the mezzanine, there's the boxes, like...
Okay, I'm gonna need it because my shooting score is not good, but first, you see kind of Flint falls onto the ground and then kind of like shoves his jaw into place, and just while everything else is happening, hold it there for a second, just like... and you see like ligaments and tendons like trying to reattach, and then he reaches under one of his leathery wings and pulls out a grappling hook and is gonna start to with the interest of I sling it over a large beam and then I go up just enough to hook it onto Franz's throat, and then I want to weigh it down and basically hang him.
That's sick.
Incredible.
I think that would be shooting, right?
Yes.
So I have 1 success.
And I have 1 success.
That's fine. My jaw is fixed. I'm gonna deal with it just to reduce Franz's threat.
Okay. The threat is now 1. This works. He is suspended in the air, gurgling and looking rough, but still kicking.
5.
You see that as he comes up, he rakes across your hamstring with the claws of his 1 remaining hand.
He kind of just finishes like falling out of the air entirely, but his weight like brings the rope down so that Franz is suspended, and he's just like writhing on the ground. Kind of like the echolocation blast, so it hurts everyone's eardrums as he cries out.
Astrid, as Flint cries out, you see Franz suspended by his jaw clawing at the air. What do you do?
Astrid's ears like pin back like an animal at the echolocation screeches from Flint. And they pull the spirit fetters around so hard that they snap apart. What did I tell you about hurting my bat? I'm gonna try and terrify again.
Incredible.
I got 6 successes,
Wow.
one of which is a 6.
I have 3.
I'll allocate my 3 4s to defending myself.
Incredible. You see as this happens, the spirits are coming towards him. He has recognized that you are the one causing the shadows and spirits, and so you see him tear off his leg. Since he's suspended in the air, he doesn't need them much anyway, and he, with his remaining arm, just begins to kind of like spin it around as if like a boomerang. He intends to throw it, and it launches towards you, but your spirits are able to apprehend the leg before it makes any damage, making his attack meaningless.
I'm going to use my 6 to feed.
There is plenty of blood around. There is also, you see in the front row of the theater, the corpses of dead Nazis. That might suffice.
Excellent. I'll use one of my successes to just finish sundering it. I think part of it is like my spirits are opening like really, really obvious like spaces for Cosgrave's ghosts to like start putting their hands in and just like ripping things out.
Sick. With the opening, the ghost like pouring in, and you just see like his eyes and like ears, and there's like green light just starts like sputtering out as the ghost is just like flying in, and then like other ones are like flying through him and just like ripping out different body parts and pieces and chunks as they're just completely shredding him down into a bit of nothingness.
You hear the strangled, gnarled, like gurgly screams of what used to be a man cease. The rest of his remaining head lays down as he dangles in the air.
For the last one, I think I'd like to advance our objective.
Yeah.
The spirits throw open all of the doors so that we have a clear shot through.
You have successfully defeated one of Hitler's Übermensch. You may all unlock and advance.
Hell yeah.
As the spirits are still like circling, Astrid wanders over to Cosgrave and just like kisses him on the top of the head. As I said, an incredible duet, darling.
As always, a wonderful partner.
You're gonna just see Chuck do that.
That opera was amazing as well, Chuck. And just like clapping.
It was a great performance from you as well, dear. I'll kiss him on the cheek.
Oh, that's why we don't got many operas in Arizona. Jesus fucking Christ.
Flint, are you alright, Iryna?
Oh, darling, I'm feeling right as rain.
You just see Flint is like curled up in a ball, licking at the wound on his hamstring, just like.
Like Cosgrave is just gonna help him like get it up because he has a hole in his hamstring and just like, all right, up you go, up you go.
All right. They said we had 1 hour. I think it's been like 50 minutes. Let's go.
Hey everybody, we are halfway there, but don't worry. Even after this half, if you're still gunning for some more Halloween content, we're going to have Halloween episodes of Beyond D&D posted all throughout October with happy campers at patreon.com/Drimbus. Happy campers will follow some camp counselors at Camp Cedar Lake as they navigate kids and their ghost stories. But don't take my word for it. Listen to a clip.
Okay, sorry. So wait, I punch him with the glizzy?
No, you don't punch him with the glizzy. You give it to him.
Yes. Matter of fact, kid, that is exactly what you do.
Oh.
You walk up to the biggest, toughest, meanest kid you see, and you pull out that glizzy and you slide it across his chin.
Gus, who are you gonna listen to? Who are you gonna listen to? Them or your brother?
I'm gonna listen to you, Nikki, but
Yeah.
We've been here a lot longer than he has. We know how it works.
You gotta make sure that glizzy frozen though. You gotta freeze that glizzy up. You know, make sure that.
this
Gus, actually,
glizzy's
don't worry about
like,
it. Just enjoy it. Just eat it if you want it.
just eat it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if you eat it in front of the toughest kid, just like fully, like full noodle, you'll be fine.
Oh, okay, yeah, that I could do. Okay,
Gus, just eat it in like, just do your thing, dog.
Eat it.
Do your thing, dog.
This was so much fun to not only GM, but edit and sound design. I really hope you enjoy. The first episode launches this Sunday, October 6th. But in the meantime, back to the episode. The area around the Eiffel Tower has been remade into pleasure gardens, intended for use by Nazi officers and their families. Cunningly designed by some of the Third Reich's foremost landscape engineers, the gardens recreate a pastoral Austrian scene in the middle of Paris. Unfortunately for the Nazi defense forces, the winding pathways, thick copses of trees, and charming ersatz waterfalls provide excellent cover for an invading gang of vampires. Unfortunately for the vampires, they also provide excellent cover for snipers. A party is in full swing. Great tables heaving with meat and bread and beer line the faux village square, and the upper echelons of the Nazi forces are celebrating Hitler's upcoming announcement. They're either too drunk or too confident to believe that the vampires constitute a serious threat.
Flint is like kind of skittering through the treetops. If you were to like fly over it, it's just a uniform forest. And every now and then he'll flitter above the treetops. And in so doing, he notices one of the sniper towers that you mentioned. And that person starts to begin to like shoot in their direction, is kind of keeping an eye out. And then he will take the long way around. And as that person is keeping their eye on the tree line, Flint actually uses sneak to make his way up into the sniper tower. And then up there in the silence, as they look out at the treetops, suddenly a massive shadow spreads over them. And they turn around and Flint just goes to town and begins to feast on this person.
Incredible.
Iryna rises to her full height, which is like a good 6 feet.
Dummy mommy.
She takes out her exquisite hunting rifle, sets it on the ground, both hands clasped over it as if it were a cane, and she announces to this party that's in full swing, "Hell hath frozen over, and the demons have been released. It is time for you to flee and pay for your sins. Go, my children!"
The band cuts out, terrified. They begin to scramble. You see some people trying to grab drinks, kind of like in Jurassic World, trying to grab
Jimmy Buffett.
with the
Jimmy
margaritas.
Buffett trying to grab drinks as they like run out and is just trying to scramble, leaving utter chaos.
Chuck's gonna want to be looting. It's like there's just a lot of things. A lot of people are not paying attention. I'm just gonna be taking some things like, oh, that looked nice.
You find some liquid courage.
These nice vintage. Y'all don't know what you're missing real quick. I'm just saying.
I feel like Cosgrave is also probably looting as everything, all the festivities are going on. It's like, what kind of trinkets can we find here?
You find the materials to make a Molotov cocktail.
Astrid is going to try and find the highest ranking official here, grab them by the hair, and just with their like bulky frame start dragging him along and just drinking from whatever part that they can reach.
You definitely find a very highly decorated officer, and as you drink from him, you taste the hatred that is usually customary with Nazi blood, but you also taste whiskey.
What a fascinating combination. Would anyone like a sip of this before I finish? And I'll kind of hold it up.
Yes, ma'am. You said whiskey.
Don't mind if I do.
And then you just hear, "Ah!" And the body that he was drinking falls from the tower. And then Flint just kind of like flutters down.
You've got your own, I see. Excellent.
I'd like to share.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I hold him up. Yeah.
We'll like tradesies.
It's like when you cross your arms to like drink from each other's cups, but it's just like a leg. Like,
Body pieces.
are we just the frat boys that show up to ruin a party? Like,
God, I hope so.
Nazi hate frat boys.
Leading you to the Eiffel Tower. Built to celebrate the 1889 Paris World Fair, the Eiffel Tower remains one of the most enduring symbols of Paris. After the Nazi conquest of the city, the famous structure was retrofitted with the latest in German technology. You see what looks like elevators rocket up the structure, dazzling electric lights blazing out into the air, and upon closer inspection, a rudimentary communications aerial has been supplanted by, presumably, high-bandwidth broadcast technology. Most notably, however, is that there is a Zeppelin attached to the top of it, containing Adolf Hitler, a cadre of Nazi vampire hunters, and, if Fang's intel is correct, the world's first Nazi werewolf.
We should maybe do a little competition. The winner could get something. I'm just saying, I would like personally to like have Hitler's head at the end of the day, because I just think that'd be very interesting.
An incredible trophy, to be certain.
Perhaps whoever loses has to do some kind of a dare once we get back to Fang.
All right.
I like that. Are we all in? Are we all doing something?
I'm here for a competition.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Okay, so a competition in the Rises. It seems that you have 20 minutes to get to Hitler. Chuck, the first thing you notice is actually some horrifically mangled bodies that were most definitely not mangled by you or Flint when he went off. It seems to have been mauled by a bear of some sort.
Uh-huh.
The second thing, though, is the sound of guns at the ready.
Flint, do you have that grappling hook or another one?
You see Flint, it's not his turn yet, but is already scaling the outside of the Eiffel Tower. Every man for himself. There's a competition at
Man,
stake.
there's a competition. Yeah, that's right. Is there at least one elevator going up?
Yes.
Okay, so Chuck's gonna go ahead and go into his, handy dandy jerry rig belt, and it's just gonna go ahead and just kind of pull out, I would say, some steel. Like that could be something of a grappling hook, and just kind of throw it, hook up, so he can just ride on up. And as he's passing, Flint go, as he just rides up the elevator.
Yeah, make that a fix for your modifying device.
I got 3 successes. I do have an ability, just so if I do have a 1, I can use that to gain a blood, actually.
Nice.
I could chew on something on the way up.
Sounds great. Yeah, you brought a snack on the way. And I got 1 success as you and Flint notice that it seems that there is a paratrooper squad approaching, and Nazi soldiers are dropping from the outside of a plane around in your area. I have 1 success as they have some guns ready.
It is very out of character, but as you flip off Flint points at the paratroopers and then gives the finger back.
Damn it. All right. I'm going to use one of my successes for defense against the paratroopers.
One of them takes a shot at you, but that leg you're munching on takes the bullet instead.
Yeah, you didn't get me. You missed.
Throws the leg at him.
Honestly, yes. I want to throw the leg. I'm going to go ahead and just chomp on him and drink and drop him. If he falls, great. If not, he gets caught up in the stuff. I don't care. I want to push the objective on that.
Okay, the objective is 7. The threat is now 5. As Astrid, the challenge is afoot.
I would like to then start charging up the stairs, and once I get around what I think is the last corner, I want to pull out my great spear and butt it up against the stairs to receive a charge.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That is a crit and a regular success with a 5. Everything else was nothing.
Okay, I have 2 successes.
I'm going to use my 6 to defend myself.
As your spear is at the ready, you hear the cocking of guns, and you see the front 2 guys get impaled as they just turn the corner and walk right into your spear.
And then I will use my last success to further the objective by just pushing using the bodies to push the rest of them back up the stairs.
Awesome.
Nice.
That brings us to Iryna. The challenge is afoot. What do you do?
Iryna is going to hold out her arms to the night sky and call out, "Children of the night, come to me! Aid my scaling!" I'm going to spend one of my blood and use Knight's Willing Servants.
Ooh.
And I'm going to summon a swarm of bats that are under my control.
Yeah.
And whilst Iryna is waiting for the bats to arrive, she's going to pull out a carton of cigarettes that she took from the pockets of hanged men. So I'm going to use that to regain 2 blood.
Incredible.
And she holds out her arms, and the bats scoop her up as they start to lift her into the air.
Flint sees this queen of the bats and just quietly to himself goes,
Step on me, mommy.
So I've got 2 successes.
And I have 1 success.
Great. Iryna's bats carry her into the night as she starts to circle around the Eiffel Tower. She holds the cigarette in one hand, takes a drag of it, and then in the smoke she exhales. She does a little trick that she's learned, and she creates a middle finger in the smoke.
queen shit.
Now that's impressive.
Flint falls behind, being awestruck at Iryna's talents.
And with my second success, I'll go ahead and defend myself against attacks.
As you approach Chuck and Flint, the paratrooper squad take notice of you, and one of them takes a shot. But through your swirling motion, the bats are able to assist you in just evading completely.
Ah, suckers! You'll never catch me now!
Cosgrave, the challenge is afoot.
So Cosgrave is like looking up at his friends. They're like scaling the building, flying up with bats, running up the stairs. Cosgrave just lets out a sigh and then just goes into the elevator.
You press the button for the elevator, and as it opens, one regular infantry officer is there at the ready.
All right, so I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna put my hand over his mouth and go shh, and bring out my shotgun and shoot him under his chin.
Great.
3 6s and a 4.
Wow. Okay, I have one success.
Well, I'm gonna shoot his brains out, and then I'm gonna absorb the blood spray.
Okay.
And then that still leaves 5 successes. So I'm just gonna put those towards the objective as I just like sit in the elevator like humming.
Okay, we have Flint scaling the side. We have Chuck using their jerry-rigged device to be on top of the other elevator. Iryna suspended by her bats. Astrid going up the stairs, and not far behind, Cosgrave suddenly in the mix in the elevator. And as the elevator dings for Cosgrave, you all meet in the very tip of the tower.
Astrid goes over to the edge and just holds out their hand for Iryna to like step over onto the edge if she wants to.
Iryna accepts your hand, steps down, and with the last bit of smoke, blows it towards you, and it forms lips and just presses a little kiss on your cheek.
Thank you, dear. You did incredibly well.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
And I'll like kiss her hand.
Oh, you're a treasure.
Flint finishes crawling over the edge of the Eiffel Tower and sees this, gets like woozy like a cartoon, falls back over the edge.
The last minute Chuck grab ya.
The ladder leading to the Zeppelin is in sight. And as you climb up, you enter the Führer's Zeppelin. In a word, sumptuous. In another word, airborne. This repurposed dirigible has been outfitted with marble, silk, gold, and mahogany. Grand staircases lead to mezzanine levels loaded with Hitler's own paintings, all of them without artistic merit, and treasures plundered from throughout Europe, Northern Africa, Tibet, and Nepal. The crucial element of the Zeppelin, and where Hitler should be, is the broadcast suite, located towards the front of the vehicle. As you all get ready, it is the unmistakable scent of silver weapons, of holy water, of garlic, which is kind of funny because that doesn't actually work, but people just can't stop thinking it does, as an outfit of Nazi vampire hunters descend down the stairs to meet you. Flint, what do you do?
Flint is just gonna run forward. He has a contest to win. He starts to like stick to the walls and then goes, nah. And then just like starts to run and spreads the wings out, and he's gonna fucking brawl.
Excellent. These Nazi hunters have an attack of 6, and somehow I have 0 successes.
Let's
That
go.
garlic, it's a little too pungent.
And I got 0 successes.
There is a bit of a stalemate here.
Yeah, you just see he's fighting, but like they are, I don't know, maybe they've heard of the monster over the radio.
Yeah.
And so he's like surrounded, and they're like kind of like keeping him penned in like a wild animal.
It seems that you are well matched as far as melee, like hand-to-hand combat, in a way that you're not used to. It's actually a little scary. Cosgrave, what are you doing?
It's like, if you think we're scary, you probably want to look behind you, and he's gonna like point towards them, and then as they turn, he's just gonna take out like this makeshift knife that he has made from like bones and like this big ass blade and just throw it at one of them.
Incredible.
So I got a 5, 2 1s, and a 3, but I have Dead Man's Luck, which says after you roll your dice pool, before you discard dice, reduce the GM's successful attack dice by 1 for each one you roll.
Oh, shit.
You lucky duck. That leaves me with 2 successes.
We'll just lower the threat.
Okay. One of them was a little slow and turned around and did get a knife in the back. but you do take 2 injuries, so roll 1d6.
There's 1.
You've lost some fingers, so as you do this con and you throw your knife and you stick one in the back, one of the vampire hunters in the front splashes holy water on you, and you watch in horror as some of your fingers disintegrate before your eyes.
Well, that's not ideal.
Iryna, what do you do?
That is enough of all of that. And I am going to take a position further back, draw my exquisite hunting rifle, and I am going to go ahead and open fire on these Nazi hunters.
Excellent.
Damn, no successes.
And I have 5.
Jesus.
Oh, I think it's time for a flashback.
I think that would be wise, in fact.
We were stationed in the rafters of the opera house, and I was looking with my rifle to take out this Nazi general, General Otto von Schmidt. And Chuck was lying next to me, and he was whispering in my ear, telling me all the ways in which to treat a gun as if you would treat a woman.
Tell him you gotta caress that trigger.
So, thinking back on this, Iryna takes a deep breath. She will leap up and do like a flip midair, hook her legs onto the pipe above her, and as she swings around, she takes aim.
Nice. Let's go.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Yes!
But 2 crits in those successes, so very exciting stuff.
So technically 7 successes.
Yes.
Wow. I still have 5 successes.
Okay, I'm going to use the 3 regular successes to defend myself.
Okay.
And then I am going to put both of the criticals towards advancing the objective. So Iryna is going to open fire with her hunting rifle to try to take out some Nazis in strategic places so that way we can push forward towards the broadcast room.
Incredible. So you lowered the objective from 6 to 2 as you all begin to face off against these Nazi vampire hunters. Iryna flips up slowly, and Chuck, you can swear you see her caress that trigger. She remembered what you said.
Chuck's gonna be very proud.
As she does that, it's almost like confetti of Nazi hunter blood splatters the room. It's hauntingly beautiful as it's like just and it leaves only 2 hunters as she has taken out 3 of them with her expert shots with this maneuver. Chuck, what do you do seeing this display from Iryna?
You're gonna see Chuck kind of dab a little bit of a tear coming out. I might see, that's what I'm talking about. That's caressing the trigger right there. Chuck's gonna go ahead, because I do have 1 blood spider scurry where I can actually skitter along the ceiling and up the walls because of the pipe where Iryna is on the elevation. I'm going to skitter around like a weird little spider, be like, I'm just so proud of you. And just keep skittering on the top. I got a 4, 5, and a 6.
Nice.
Damn.
Very nice. I have 4 successes.
What the fuck?
I'm going to take my crit, because that's 2. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe out the objective.
Very nice.
I'm going to take my remaining 2, and I'm actually going to go ahead and do that as like a defense.
Okay.
The best way I can see it is I'm dropping down, and I'm just going to kind of go and just rip the throats out that we'll be drinking.
And as you rip open one of the vampire hunters, they bite down hard, and the blood tastes of holy water. And so it hurts and burns and kind of corrodes your insides.
Like, you're just going to see me kind of just spit up.
Why don't you roll for an injury?
I have my cowboy hat. My cowboy hat, it can mark to ignore an injury or being down or anything like that. My hat will be destroyed, though.
Yes, it will. Is that okay with you?
I'm gonna cry, but I'll Yeah, the hat's gotta go.
All right. You had torn them apart, and it had burned your throat, but you were able to spit it out. But unfortunately, this hat being a part of you, it seems that the acidity of this holy water begins to burn the hat away as well, and it is no longer wearable.
No. Not Sheila. I had that one for so long.
Flint produces a small withered flower and places it on top of the disintegrating hat.
I go to take my hat for a moment of silence, and I don't. I'm just like,
We'll find you a new one, a better one.
all right.
You have reached Hitler's broadcast suite. An elaborate set has been constructed to give the impression of power and superiority. Great banners hang from every wall. An iron and basalt lectern stands atop a staircase, and, in direct opposition to Zeppelin operational safety guidelines, a roaring fire pit occupies the center of the chamber. Across the room, you see Hitler, and he hurries to hide himself inside of a closet, and as you take him in, he looks coked up. Unfortunately for you, however, you see that your intel was correct. A beastly canine face is twisted with ferocity, and his feral snarls ring out as his muscles bulge and almost grow and pop as bones crack. His claws extend as he seems to ready himself, and he howls at the moon showing in the window as he runs at you. This is the werehund. Astrid, what do you do?
Astrid reaches into their back pocket and pulls out a frag grenade, which I know is not where you're supposed to keep grenades, but that's where they've kept it. And in the ring of the grenade, there is a perfectly fitted piece of sandstone. And as they pull the pin, they crack the sandstone that has a sigil on it. And the braid that was in their hair for the sixth time today expands out of itself and takes on a mane countenance around their face. And their already kind of feline features elongate a little more towards a lion. And they chuck the grenade, and in the throwing of the grenade kind of fall to all fours and start to run forward.
Awesome.
4 successes, 2 of which are crits.
Damn.
I'm going to use one of my specials for unnatural endurance to reduce the GM's attack dice by 3.
Wow. Okay, that is still 2.
I'll use one of my successes to feed my crit to take the threat down.
Okay.
I'm going to use one to defend.
So, as you are running forward, you engage in an animalistic, beastly brawl. This blood tastes like sweat and cheap leather, and it is not appetizing.
Don't bite the dog. It's disgusting.
But I have so little blood.
I mean, it's worth it, but ugh.
And you rake across this werewolf, and it howls in pain before doing the same to you. And you do lower the attack to just 1, but it seems that for some reason this beast is highly effective towards vampires, and you will take the most damaging in that category instead of just 1 injury.
So as they kind of rake their claws across, the shadows that had been kind of clinging to Astrid earlier when they were using their spirit fetter return with a vengeance and seem to swirl around them, almost obfuscating their visage, making them harder to see. So I have +2 to sneak now, but -2 to terrify.
And that will bring us to Flint.
I'll grab, I don't know, I'm assuming there were busts of German
Soldiers.
somebody.
Yeah, no, totally.
He's gonna grab one off a wall somewhere and he's gonna say, "Don't hurt my cat," and is going to come flying forward to brawl with the werewolf.
Perfect.
6 and a 5.
Very good. I have 3 successes.
Okay, that is totally fine because my bone armor means after I roll my dice pool, before I discard dice, reduce the GM's successful attack dice by 1 for each one you rolled, and I rolled 3.
Very nice.
He grabs the bus, goes flying in. You see the werewolf begins to try to strike at him, but he is kind of gliding and twisting and turning, like, and moving out of the way. And then I'm going to use the crit to advance our objective by, like, jamming the bust directly into its mouth and, like, cracking its teeth. And then is going to, like, drop to the ground in the little bat crawl and just bite into its ankle and say, "Lucky for you, I like it nasty." And just start to drink blood from the ankle.
Perfect. And as the bust is in its mouth, you hear like a strangled, like muffled, like as it like tries to howl through, but it's like it's being blocked from this pain and being bit into. Then Chuck, what do you do?
So Chuck's gonna go ahead and sees that shit's gone off the rails a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and just like, I pulled out some good old-fashioned Kentucky bourbon. So I'm gonna go ahead and just
knock it back.
Yeah, because I'm, life's hard right now. I lost my hat, all right? I lost Sheila. I'm drinking. I'm sad. So I'm drinking that thing.
That's fair.
Just to get that courage up and running and just start blasting. 2 successes, but I got a 1.
I have 5 successes.
Oh, I'm going to have a flashback then.
Okay, yeah.
I like to think we were kind of in the trenches, like in a, let's just say, one of them Nazi camps, if you will. And we're there, like, sabotaging not just tanks and guns, but I'm on that, what is it? They got, like, one of those machine grappling guns type thing. Yeah. I'm going ahead and, like, packing it full of tobacco, anything I can go boom with. I would say Cosgrave was definitely going, it's actually not that bad of a, like, you're doing, that's actually quite interesting, like a packing job, like how I'm doing it. And it just, like, brings a little pride. So now he's just making it all extra nice. I'm like, you want to see someone go real boom boom real quick? Hold on, let's just add this to it. Do you know one of your spirit things? Can you just put that right in there? And I guarantee you it's going to go ahead and not only go pew, but it's going to bring some spiritual shit in this thing. So it can be like a ghost bomb.
All right, I'm trusting.
And because he is trusting me with the ghost on top of the bomb, as we skedaddle and it goes up and you see like some fiery poltergeist, just like whatever, eating some, burning up some Nazi souls, I'm gonna be like, I gotta admit, I never thought all the supernatural spooky stuff would be more volatile than some explosions and pew-pews. I gotta say, you opened my mind to things. Like, just impressed.
It seems that what Cosgrave respected most about you was adapting and not stubbornly holding on to that being the only way to do things.
As a creative type, I appreciate adaptability, and you're very clever and on your feet.
That little clever is playing in Chuck's head right now, like, just like, I am creative. I can't do this without Sheila. I can't do this. Like, just kind of rally it together as he's
Absolutely. The werewolf is like, what the fuck? Like, and you can re-roll and add 2d6.
Okay, now that's a lot. Oh, that's a lot better. Okay. We got 2 critical successes and 3, 5. So I have 5 successes. I'm going to take one of the crits as defend myself for 2, and then with the other 3 singles, that'll put me to the 5-2, whatever comes my way.
Yeah. As you were blowing in your nose, the werewolf was like watching, like confused, and just while you were down, decided to try to just claw at you. And you are courageous right now, and also this beast is not giving you space to mourn Sheila. And that's just rude.
What a bitch.
Best way I could say is like, Chuck, just go ahead and like bats that out the way. Like, so you not understand the pain I'm in right now. So with the last one, I would like to go ahead and, what was the threat at?
The threat is at 5.
Let's lower it by 2.
Excellent. So threat is at 3. And as you seemingly effortlessly just bat the hand away, you see this beast is so confused because that really should have like fucked you up or something. It's going to spit the statue that was in its mouth out, and frustratedly you hear the like as it like snarls at having missed you. Iryna.
Surveying the situation, she lights one of her cigarettes and approaches the chaise lounge, and as she's taking a drag from the cigarette, she just kind of like slowly and seductively runs her hand across the chaise lounge, and she stares at the werewolf and goes, "Hello, big boy." don't you want to come play with Mother? As she tries to seduce the werewolf.
Hearing that, Astrid's hand just like flaps out for the person nearest.
I believe it's Flint.
Yeah, you grab onto Flint's wing, and so Flint turns around and then grabs your hand with both his hands.
You know what I mean? It's just beautiful.
He's flustered.
2 successes.
Okay, I have 3 successes.
Okay, I'm going to put 1 success towards defending myself against attacks, and then I will put the next one towards eliminating a threat.
Iryna, with this display, you look into this beast's eyes, and it seems to hesitate for a moment. Its hackles calm, and its eyebrows lift in confusion. The human parts that remain of this beast seem to be appealed to, and it begins to reach forward, almost in asking for your hand. And then something switches, like whether it's chemical, whether it's something else, that then the hackles rise again and it swipes at you.
Little beast. 2 for the injuries, which is going to be my suit torn.
Because it's the werewolf, you will take the full damage from this. So your abdomen is punctured by these claws. And as of now, you cannot use any bonus dice.
You might have gotten the best of me this time, beastie. But I have friends in good places. And she winks at Cosgrave.
And that brings us to Cosgrave.
Cosgrave is gonna sneak around, so he's gonna like reach in. He's like, I know it's here somewhere. Where is it? And then finds a jar that just like looks completely sealed up. Like you see a bunch of like writing on it from different languages as kind of like a warning, as like a beware sign. And he's gonna twist the top off, and he's going to open Mother Millicent's stolen soul jar to try to steal a soul from the werewolf.
Excellent.
And I think while he's doing that too, he's just gonna spend a blood to activate Phantasmagoria. And as I'm opening the jar, I'm like spreading blood to warp the area, making everything darker and more eerie. And you just hear like laughter coming from different areas, and the statues are all warped into different creatures and eerie, as it seems like they're speaking towards the werewolf, beckoning him to join their side and embrace death.
Join me. Over here, furry bitch.
Y'all, the statue's talking.
Go ahead and roll all of your special dice for this.
I have a 6, a 6, a 5, 2 2s, and 2 1s.
Okay, I have 4 successes.
I'm going to obviously use the 1s to take away 2 of your attack dice.
Oh yeah, I have 2 successes.
1 of the crits to protect myself from that. 1 to also absorb blood as he's being absorbed. And I'll use the other 2 to trap the soul of the werewolf into the jar.
Fucking awesome.
And it's like Ghostbusters, if you will, with the jar opening up, and there's just like a swirl of like phantasms and light, and like mixed with like blood and the green smoke, as the werewolf is being pulled in towards it and tries to like claw his way away, but this is just feet first getting sucked in more into the jar. As Cosgrave is like holding it, and it's almost too much for him to hold by himself. He's like beckoning to his friends to like help him out, to like hold the jar steady as the werewolf gets absorbed into the jar.
Flint is still like clenching onto Astrid's hand, and then like puts one hand out to help with it.
Astrid is around the back and just like butts their shoulder up against Cosgrave's back so they don't get pushed back any further.
Chuck's gonna do that too, but he's gonna take the rag and just kind of like, Iryna, I'm so sorry. I know this is gross, but I gotta make sure that blood doesn't come out. Like kind of like try to pat that wound with.
For some reason, a song comes to Cosgrave's head while he's doing it, and all you hear is the
organ in the room plays by itself.
And then the werewolf gets sucked in, and he quickly puts the lid back on the jar.
And you all breathe heavy as the threat of the werewolf has been dealt with.
Chuck's gonna run towards Hitler. Game's not over.
Everybody just starts sprinting towards Hitler.
Flint grabs Chuck's leg to like trip them to like get ahead of them.
All right. I think that we all need a final roll, but against each other to see who is winning this challenge. Flint, how are you trying to win this challenge?
Fucking brawl. So here's the thing. Nice emotional moment, handhold, jar capture, group together. Then, oh shit, Hitler time. Flint currently has very little sympathy for any of his teammates. So I'm gonna brawl, but then I'm going to use my wings. So I'm gonna spend the blood to like kind of free myself of like the trampoline and the foot race.
Yeah.
And then I'm also gonna use the grappling hook, like throw it at the door to like pull myself even faster.
Yeah, roll, but hold on to that number. And the
Okay.
next person I have is Chuck. How are you trying to win this challenge?
That grappling hook is little metal, and I have acidic spit.
Damn. Okay.
In the corner of your vision, you see little green text that says Flint will remember this.
All right. Hold on to that number. Astrid, how are you trying to win this challenge?
Astrid lets out a roar like a lion, and the spirits around them flare and kind of settle out of their kind of frenetic movement. My sigil is just marred now, so you see one of the necklaces that have a bunch of like sigils and like complex knots. Bits of it are kind of fraying out from itself, but it's still holding strong as all of the shadows kind of coalesce around their hips and then shoot out. I'm going to use my last blood to use my new ability called Spirit Storm, which is I can hurl items like a poltergeist.
Holy shit.
I'm imagining that maybe one of, as Cosgrave was pulling the werewolf in and all the statues were talking, one of them cracked and like became this like craggy, pointy, sharp, heavy object. And I'm just going to use the bits of spirit energy around me to send it rocketing forward toward the door using Terrify and then my new ability.
Incredible. Roll all that dice and hold on to that number. Next is Iryna.
Iryna figures that no one could possibly move faster than a bullet. So she's going to draw her exquisite hunting rifle and take aim at the closet. However, I'm going to use 3 blood to heal an injury. So my abdominal puncture starts to close up and heal itself so I can use bonus dice.
Perfect.
She draws her exquisite hunting rifle, takes aim. As she does so, she puts a cigarette between her lips, her last one, and the flint of the rifle is going to light the cigarette as she fires the bullet.
Cool.
And then I'm also going to go ahead and use my ability Dark Glamour by spending another blood.
Okay.
And those nearby are mesmerized by my unearthly visage. So all of a sudden, Iryna just kind of looks like even more, and like the cigarette being lit by like the flint of the rifle just like makes her violet irises glow and draw people's gaze in to try to distract them. And she's in beautiful surroundings as well, so that's an additional bonus dice. So that's a 7.
All right, Cosgrave, how are you trying to win this challenge?
So he is just going to reach in, take out his last bottled ghost, throw up the jar, and then bring out his shotgun and use the last shot of his shotgun to shoot open the jar of ghost to send them towards Hitler.
Incredible. Go ahead and roll for that.
Okay.
Okay, Flint, with the sabotage from Chuck, you must lower one of your dies by 1.
Okay.
What is your final success count? And count criticals as 2 successes.
Okay, I have a 6 and a 6, so 2 crits, and a 4 and a 4, so 2 successes, so
Excellent.
a total of 6.
6. Okay. Chuck, what's your final count?
2 regular successes and 1 crit. So if that counts as 2, 4. I lost. And you're gonna hear a God damn it.
Flint flips you off as he flies towards the door.
Okay. Astrid, what's the final count?
I got 2 crits, which is 4, and then 3 regular successes, which is 7.
Jesus.
All right. So as you're busy flipping off Chuck, it seems Astrid has gotten ahead of you. Iryna, what is your final count?
Iryna only has 1 regular success and 1 critical.
Okay, so as this is happening, you guys hear the shotgun run out, and although Iryna looks beautiful, it seems that, at least right now, Astrid's a little quicker than that bullet. Cosgrave, what's your final count?
I have 6 successes and I have 2 1s. So instead of GMs, can I use them to reduce other people's?
Yeah, I think so.
Flint, odds or evens?
Evens.
That's a 2.
Fuck.
Okay, so here's what happens. Astrid is in the lead. Flint close behind. Chuck close behind that. Iryna's bullet is flying through the air, but Cosgrave's ghosts reach Hitler first. But Astrid gets first blood. So
Technically, it was the last person to drink from Hitler
last
loses.
person to drink from Hitler.
Yeah, we had a lot of rules.
Yeah.
As the first person there, I'm gonna grab him and pull him out so he's in front of the camera as the 5 of us just eviscerate him.
Wait, have you tried this? And Flint goes, rips some of the mustache hairs off and like dips them in the blood. And is like, oh my God.
Does that add some kind of flavor to it?
Yeah. It's hateful. So sweet.
Y'all, does anyone else feel like they can just go ahead and fight like 12 of these werewolves in like God right now? Because I am wired.
Wait. Look at this. And then he's gonna use a blood, like bring Hitler's body up and just make him do like stupid things.
Wait, make him dance.
What's this?
Can I start like shooting the ground to make him dance even better?
Absolutely. And as you work together to eviscerate Hitler and then just like disembody his corpse.
Absolutely. He has no bits left.
No. And the live stream, there were not many who could receive this broadcast, which means that the ones that could were up and coming or rich or an officer. And it seems that your message has been received. Hitler eviscerated. You all argue about who won the challenge as you walk to the nearest bar.
Let's go.
Before the camera goes off, Cosgrave, can you just bring Hitler's head up and mimic the mouth while we say something?
Absolutely. God, like, and he goes up to him. What do you want?
So, as you can see, your Fuhrer is going to give some more rules, meaning he is fewer living, and I don't know, anyone else got to say something to these Nazis really quick before we log off?
I'm coming to eat you.
Do svidania.
We're coming for you.
There's a party at this bar. Why don't you come join us?
We need something to drink anyway.
And also, when the fine people who were on the broadcast asked to be let in, please invite them in because otherwise they can't celebrate. So it's very important that you let them in. They will not harm you as far as you know.
Yeah. So the broadcast ended. As you begin to party, it seems that you have set up some mini games for yourselves, like pin the mustache on the Hitler kind of thing, and you are just having a grand old time. The war is over, and it's time to party. This has been Mayday, Mayday, the Drimbus is eating the Reich. This episode features the vocal talents of Amanda Domenech as Chuck, Giancarlo Herrera as Flint, Lev Shivers as Astrid, Michael Pisani as Iryna, and T.J. Berry as Cosgrave. The rest of the world was voiced by your GM, Hannah Schooner, with editing and sound design also by Hannah Schooner. This episode was played in collaboration with Dungeons & Drimbus and Mayday Roleplay. If you like what you heard, be sure to check out our social medias and Patreons in the show notes. This episode was played on the system Eat the Reich, also in the show notes. We at Dungeons & Drimbus missed you so much during our break, but were so excited to share more Halloween content all throughout October at patreon.com/Drimbus with happy campers. But we couldn't do it without you. Jerry Benetottos, Queso Loco, Victoria Madrid, Greta and Beignet, Alex Gapes My Ass, Ace Andrews, Regina Russell, Sam Olivos, Jordan Cobb, The Unnamed Rogue, NB Star, Doubtful Guest, Michael Richters, Davis Walden, Danny Dewdrop, Mythmouse, Callie Wolf, Brandon M. Bishop, Bridge, Twiglets, Joanna, Stan Sitzman, Scrambles, the Death Dealer, Aaron Adams, Nathan Mesnard, Rue Thanatos, Carrie Holmes, Melissa Rain, Sensational, Batsa Plenty, Uvula Nutria, Dane Koholf, Loon, Faust, the Heavenly Demonic Monster, David Carlton, Lord Braxton Von Wendell III, Tracy Baby, Waffle Marine, Elastic Band, Hoodie Gang Sheep, Doobie Daddy, Luke Vermin, MV Carr, and Chris McGann. Mwah! That's a kiss from all of us at Drimbus. Thank you so much for listening. We really hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you all next time.